I guess I've always said that, you know, if you put yourself out there on TV, you have to accept that people aren't always going to like you. And you do have choices. I have a choice. I can stay at home and sit on my sofa, or I put myself out there and accept some of the comments that are coming my way. And I've been grateful for those.
Well, who do we have here today? We're back with Katie Hopkins. Now, this is a very old video, but you guys know, if you've been watching my channel, you know I have a soft spot for Katie Hopkins. I think she's brave and, you know, she's clearly outspoken. She's very offensive, and which I like. And she's brave. You know, she doesn't mind. She says things the way she sees them. And I think we need a lot more of that in the world. And she has suffered personally in her personal life. She's been canceled, debanked, all those things. But she's still going strong. But I just wanted to show you guys this example from kind of from an English TV show, British TV show, several years ago. But just Katie Hopkins getting everybody mad on the panel and in the audience.
A mixed reaction, I think.
Well, yes. Well, you got a mixed reaction coming out.
I did, but I particularly like the lady there in the red.
When you went in, it was big boos, wasn't it? Really big boos.
Yeah, really big boos. So I went in as the most hated Celebrity Big Brother candidate ever in the history.
You liked that? You liked that title?
Yeah, I know where I am with boos. I know where I am with being hated, kind of the biggest bitch in Britain, most hated woman in Britain. That's kind of space that I'm used to. I'm used to kind of getting boos from audiences, so I'm all right with that.
But did you go in because you don't like being the most hated woman in Britain? You wanted to change that?
No, I think I went in because, you know, I've been asked for quite a long time. The January series is always, I think, the better one because people are indoors and largely bored at home anyway. And because there only comes a certain amount of time where you can keep saying no, when you recognise lots of people are working very hard out there doing 13-hour night shifts to earn £28,000, £34,000 a year, and you're being offered a lot of money to essentially go in a house and sit on your bottom.
So do you go for the money?
Yeah, I think for me, ultimately, you can put it to things like, you can say, well, that's the school fees paid for, or that's the university fees paid for, or whatever you want to put it as. And that's, for me, justified leaving my children for 4 weeks, although obviously leaving them with my husband and my mum and dad.
You see, as long...
By the way, just in case you don't know what she's talking about, she was on a Celebrity Big Brother in the UK. And, yeah, she was, you know, as she said, most hated woman in Britain, biggest bitch in Britain, all that sort of thing. She's got a reputation to maintain. She's got standards to live up to.
I was honest about that, because I hear some people in a lot of, you know, TV shows going, I don't know why I came in here. And you think, everybody knows why you went in there. You went in for the money.
Yeah, my mum loves you just as
But did you go in to win it? Did you go in to win it? Because the thing that I kept people saying, you were saying, they're playing a game, he's playing a game, she's playing a game. You were playing a game. Surely you were all playing a game. You're playing...
You are. It is a game, and it's important to see it as a game. And it's important as well not to take it too seriously or yourself too seriously. My husband said I should try and see it as the pursuit of happiness. I'm not sure about that. But certainly you should see it as a game. You should recognise that it's not actually that difficult. You should recognise that your life isn't that hard in there. You shouldn't complain all the time. There isn't actually much wrong with you. And that's one of the things the producer said to me afterwards, is that I was probably the only candidate that didn't complain, didn't ask to see a doctor ever, didn't need to see the psychiatrist ever, and didn't complain about the way I was being treated, because frankly I think the people in there have an easy time of it and should zip it.
Do you ever... Do you ever, of everything you've said, controversial, and you know you've upset people with things you've said, do you ever regret saying it or feel you should apologise?
No, I don't regret saying anything that I've said, because I'd stand by it. And I think in the house, whilst maybe people got to see another side of me, or a side of me beyond maybe 5 minutes on a sofa or 2 minutes on a radio or 140 characters on Twitter, there is still a very hard side to me, a side that says, no, the taxpayer shouldn't be paying for your kid to go to school when you pay £4,500 on the transportation of your horses.
Yeah, no, that's an opinion that you have, but I'm on about personal attacks, personal opinions. Do you ever think I shouldn't have said that and I should apologise?
Give me an example.
Well, for instance, when my sister was in Big Brother, you constantly, every day, day in, day out, went on about, I wish she'd put her ugly fat arm away. I wish she'd pick up her very droopy breasts. She looks like an old person that smells of, she didn't put this politely, but urine. And as a family, that was really, really hard to... And I just thought, can you imagine somebody saying that about your family? Do you ever think, actually, I shouldn't have said that?
No, and people say hard stuff about me all the time, obviously.
Yeah, but
If you let me answer... No, I'm going to answer. I am going to answer if we let me answer, of course. And the thing I would...
I just love Katie Hopkins. I just wish she just takes control of the situation. She's very, very good at it. And yeah, I mean, she is, you know, she's famous not just for her political and social opinions, but also for insulting people. Absolutely. You know, fat shaming, everything, just like this woman was complaining about here. Katie Hopkins was apparently in the Big Brother house calling this other woman fat, who was the sister of this presenter. And yeah, but I mean, that's what Big Brother's all about, people insulting each other.
What I'd say is, you know, there are hard things that are said. I wasn't the biggest fan of your sister on Celebrity Big Brother, and I was a massive supporter of Jim Davison. I suppose as adversaries, you have to pick your sides.
Absolutely.
And I was always Team Jim.
Do you not think you should have looked into the reason her arm is that fat is because she's had breast cancer and she has lymphedema and she's had a mastectomy?
We all
and her
have.
biggest insecurity in life is that arm that you constantly, day in, day out.
And how many times, you know, I think I get a lot of comments, for example, every day about maybe I've got a big nose, or I look like Princess Anne, or a horse face, or any of the other insults that people want. People want to throw at me, and I accept those things that people throw at me. But I guess I've always said that, you know, if you put yourself out there on TV, you have to accept that people aren't always going to like you, and you do have choices. I have a choice. I can stay at home and sit on my sofa, or I put myself out there and accept some of the comments that are coming my way, and I've been grateful for those.
That talking to a cancer victim and describing her as having droopy breasts, is that a constructive criticism?
I think for me, I was Team Jim, and so I was with Jim all the
but
way on this, and I
answered
didn't
my
like the way she
question.
behaved in the house. I didn't like the way she
you haven't answered my
conspired
question.
against
Do you
Jim.
think telling a cancer victim that she's got droopy breasts is constructive, helpful criticism?
I'm not looking to do constructive, helpful criticism. I have 400,000 followers on Twitter because...
I'm not looking to do helpful, constructive criticism. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That's the way it should be.
Some people find me witty and entertaining.
No, but also we know how you get 400,000
fame.
followers on Twitter by trading them off. It's
and then the reason people read the stuff you write is because you write fairly harsh and direct stuff about individuals. So we have to say we operate in the same business.
I have never picked on someone's breasts because they're a cancer victim. I just think there are other ways to have a go at someone. And
we could pick on this one item and talk about it for 15 minutes.
No, but you know what I'd like to ask you on a general level? Forget Big Brother for a second. I first became aware of you, as many people here will have, on The Apprentice, right? And since then, you have made what seems to be actually quite a successful career on being controversial and saying cruel things sometimes. Was that your game plan, that you were going to be that person?
No, I think increasingly out there nowadays, the world is really a magnolia. You know, everybody sits in this magnolia, vanilla, middle ground of wanting to be liked. And I like to believe that I am some kind of conviction individual. There are things I believe passionately in. I believe passionately, for example, that we need to look after ourselves, look after our weight, make sure that we take personal responsibility.
But do you like being called a bully, though? I mean, people call you a bully. Do you like that?
I don't think I'm a bully. I think one of your other loose women, I think Nadia, did a pretty good job of being a bully in the house. And I'd like to say, you know, I heard her say the only reason you can tut all you like, but the only reason I'll be kicked out of this house is because people love me so much. They want to save me. And I think actually there's another side to that. I think Nadia was kicked out of the house because she did a very bad thing in supporting Perez, and actually she wasn't prepared to have another individual in the house that she disagreed with. I didn't vote for Nadia to be evicted from the house, but she voted for me every time. I think I'm quite open-minded, that we all have different opinions, and that's okay.
You know, and you might think, oh, because Nadia is a loose woman, that, you know, our audience would be biased towards that, and our comments today actually are very varied, 50-50, and a lot in favour of you. Deborah says, I think Celebrity Brother did Katie a big favour. It brought out her softer side and definitely changed my opinion of her. Debbie says, Katie has a cracking sense of humour. You'll always know where you are with her. Helen says, we talk a lot about Perez, obviously, which we'll ask you about in a moment. She spoke her mind and gave that vile Perez as good as he got. I didn't care for her when she went in, but glad that she stood up for herself.
Well, brilliant. What more can you say? See, these commenters, they understand Katie Hopkins. She stands up for herself. She gives as good as she gets. She's, you know, if you're going to go after her, she'll go after you. she's just got that energy, and she's brilliant with it, and she has been for years. I mean, this video is several years old now. This is like 8 or 9 years old. So, you know, they're talking about her stint on an old TV show, but it just shows you how long Katie Hopkins has been doing her thing and how brave she is. And yeah, it was a silly Big Brother TV show, Celebrity Big Brother. It's not important. What's important is her character, and she's never changed, which I think is fantastic. So, obviously, you guys know I love Katie Hopkins, and I will continue looking for more Katie Hopkins videos to comment on. Hopefully some more recent ones too. Anyway, let me know what you think of Katie in the comments, and if you have anything particular to add to, you know, that situation. In the meantime, like and subscribe. It always helps me grow the channel and continue making content for you.